The generation that appeared in 2004 has nothing in common with its predecessor. Gone are the frame, plug-in front axle, dependent rear suspension. The modern Sportage is a typical crossover, and, as is now customary, it has a twin brother, the Hyundai Tucson. Let's start with engines. Gasoline engines are represented by the 4.2.0L, 140 horsepower, and V6 2.7L, 173 horsepower. There are few copies with 6s. They were bought reluctantly because of the relatively high price. There are also few cars with turbo diesels. Despite the same volume of 2.0 liters, they differ in power, 115 liters width, and 140L width. Attention should be paid to this moment, because a more powerful turbo diesel in terms of dynamics and traction surpasses the petrol, not to mention the economy. The mechanical part of the motors has no characteristic weaknesses. Repair is mainly associated with the disregard for the oil level and its timely replacement. Also, do not forget about the routine replacement of the timing belt with a run of 60,000 kilometers. Cases of its breakage are known, and the degree of damage to the engine filling in this case depends solely on luck. On gasoline engines, fuel pumps and some sensors occasionally fail, for example, oxygen, idle, crankshaft position. Turbo diesels may have injector failure. At the initial stage, this is identified by increased vibrations transmitted to the entire body. Each nozzle costs 17,000 rubles, and changing it is not easy. Of course, the cause of problems with fuel equipment is low-quality diesel fuel and/or non-observance of cleanliness in tanks during its transportation and storage. Versions of the Kia Sportage for Russia were equipped with a fuel filter heater, which, however, does not guarantee the engine will start in frosts of about -30. Another standard device for diesel versions is a water and fuel sensor. Failure of a turbine with a run of up to 100,000 kilometers is a rarity, and then everything depends on the careful attitude of the owner to this unit. The best tool for its long life is a security system with a turbo timer. The motors are combined with a manual 5-speed gearbox or a 4-speed automatic with the ability to manually shift gears. Vehicles with a manual transmission can throw problems with the reverse sensor and the clutch fork. In addition, the service life of the release bearing and clutch basket is short. Of course, everything is very approximate, but for some classmates these nodes last 1.5 to 2 times longer. In copies of the first years of production, there were leaks in the clutch master cylinder. In versions with automatic transmission, again in the first years of production, breakdowns of the control valve block are known. There are failures in electronic control, and some of them spontaneously disappear. Well, in general, 200,000 kilometers for an automatic machine of any manufacturer is like a midlife crisis. Maybe everything will go smoothly, or maybe it will go to pieces. However, it is unlikely that when buying you will see such numbers on the odometer. Our buyer is not psychologically ready to buy a used car with a similar mileage. Therefore, an odometer correction specialist is a very profitable profession. Despite the off-road appearance, all-wheel drive is not present on all instances. For the most part, the underdrive is imported from America, and, by the way, it has a ground clearance of a couple of centimeters less than that of the 4x4 versions. Full-fledged Sportage under normal conditions are front-wheel drive, and as soon as slippage begins, the Borg-Warner multiplate electromagnetic clutch connects the rear axle. The clutch integrated into the rear gearbox can transmit up to half of the torque, and if necessary, it can be blocked manually by pressing the appropriate button. True, in this case it will not be possible to go faster than 40 km/h. When conquering off-road, it is worth remembering that the clutch can be overheated. Moreover, it is often enough to simply drive 10 to 20 kilometers through sand or mud for the protective system to turn off the four-wheel drive. In addition, in difficult conditions, it should be remembered that the engine crankcase does not have standard protection. Fully independent suspension on good roads go for a long time, up to 100 to 120,000 kilometers. All intervention consists only in replacing the bushings of the anti-roll bars. But when driving on average Russian roads, the picture is not so rosy. Suspension silent blocks, wheel bearings, ball bearings do not please with longevity, and the only consolation is that their prices are more than affordable. The undoubted advantage of the model is a comfortable interior. It is comfortable both front and rear, regardless of the height of the driver. The rear door is double-winged, the glass in it opens separately. Additional advantages are the presence of cruise control, adequate operation of the stabilization system, linear and USB inputs in the music system. Well, now about the cons. The interior ventilation recirculation system sometimes pleases with an unpleasant odor. Many owners complain about the big difference in the temperature of the air supplied to the front and rear passengers. Also in the list of claims are poor soundproofing of the cabin, creaking and crickets, the low quality of regular speakers. We also note fogging headlights and a low and non-functional armrest. A few words about maintainability. Kia Sportage is not a car that is easy to maintain on your own. Access to many consumables is difficult, and without dismantling some of the components, they simply cannot be reached. And finally, liquidity. Yes, of course, now the Koreans make good crossovers. However, the used Sportage loses quite a lot in price. However, in this case, this only adds to its attractiveness in the secondary market.